Hello, everyone. Welcome to Financeology 101. Class is now in session. The information provided during this podcast is just that, information. You will need to do further research to address your specific situation. Enjoy the session. Welcome, everyone, to our next session of Gifted Generation Presents Financeology 101. This session will be on the mental approach to financial planning. I would like to welcome our special guest, Ms. Tina Smith. She is the president of the Financial T Coaching and Consulting Firm. She's an author. She wrote It's Your Turn, Walk in Your Financial Purpose. She's also a mentor at the local community in the Virginia area. She's a mentor at a local community college in the Virginia area. And she's a financial volunteer at Quantico Marine Corps base in Quantico, Virginia. Now, previously, Tina was an investment advisor representative and a health and life insurance agent for multiple states across the country. So welcome, Tina.
Why, thank you. I am so honored to be here with you all today. I'm just so excited about the opportunity to talk about, our mental state when it comes to finances. So I think this is a great topic for today.
Yes. And I think this is a good topic because it's like the foundation before you can even start thinking about saving and investing. This is the foundation, your mental state when it comes to finances.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. But thank you for the introduction. And again, thank you for having me. Everything you said about me was true. And I just like to quickly kind of fill in some blanks, though, because, some people want to know, why would you leave a well-known company to, open your own firm? You would leave, six figures to go do this. And the answer is yes. I wasn't called to help rich people get richer. I was called to help individuals who felt like no one was in their corner. None of the big guys or the big companies were in their corner. And so I decided to leave a well-known financial firm to help those who felt like no one cared about them enough to help them improve their financial status. And so I'm honored to be able to serve in this capacity and be a financial coach. And I'm really excited about the days and years to come within our firm. And then as far as the book, It's Your Turn, Walk in Your Financial Purpose, which you can always go to my website, thefinancialt.org. That is FINANCIAL, the letter T.org. And you can order my book right there. But it was written for Christians who lost faith in the Word of God concerning their finances, or felt like the word maybe was a little outdated and did not apply to today's economy. And that could not be further from the truth. So I wanted to take someone who was within the financial profession, the financial industry, had practiced a lot of these financial concepts over the years, saw them work in my own life. And so I want to marry those two and then with God's word and show the believer, if you do what he says to do with dollars, they will flip and they will work in your favor and it'll be a resource.
Yes, I totally agree with that. He is the foundation for everything.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
give us where someone that is looking to start this journey, give us what we need to get started.
Okay. So we're talking about from a mental state.
Yes.
If I could share even, my story a little bit, and maybe this will, really help someone and speak with them right where they are. So I was young in the military. I was making $19,000 a year, not 9019. I just want to make sure I'm clear. And it was an important thing for me to have options when I left the military. And I had been in the military at the time, maybe 4.5, 5 or so years. And I remember re-enlisting. And though I would love to tell you that I re-enlisted because I'm that much of a patriot, I re-enlisted because I didn't have a financial plan. I didn't have any plan to get out and do something that was going to be lucrative. So I re-enlisted and served my country honorably, for another 15 or so years. And I'm proud of that. But it meant something to me to be able to have a plan in which if the next time my re-enlistment was up, I could choose to do something else. Or if I decided to do something else and got tired of working for an employer, I could walk away and pursue my passion. So it was important for me to even change my mindset at the young age of 25 and say, you know what? I don't want to be tied to a paycheck per se. I want to be able to allow the little dollars that I'm making, and I want to work it to where as time goes on, it would become much. So what I had to do from a mental state is be okay with saying no. And that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yes, it is.
Because, I'm a young military person. I'm looking what everybody else is driving and, these bonuses and, all these neat things that people can get, whether it be purses, shoes, homes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there are times where I had to say, well, no, I can't buy the new car. No, I can't go shopping with my friends, or no, I can't go out of town for the weekend, and go to the casino or whatever the neat thing was. If I wanted to make a change in my financial position, sometimes I had to stay my tail at home.
Right.
And not go out to eat. Right. And, maybe the answer was grilled cheese. Maybe the answer was, staying at home and, keeping my entertainment, within the four walls of my apartment. And I'm not saying that it is something that has to be a permanent no.
Right.
It's a no just in enough time for you to really start shifting not only your mind, but when you shift your mind, it turns into action. And so it was important for me to say, no to myself, at many times. And I know that if had I said yes to some of those things when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I would have to say no to things in my mid to late 40s. Wow. And then on forth to 50s and 60s. And that's something I just was not willing to do.
Yeah, and to do it so young too. Yeah, wow.
Well, I'm thankful because had someone not come into my life, and see, this is why it's so important, to work in your purpose, because someone stepped into my life at 25 years old and say, hey, what are you doing with your money? Do you even know, how to save, how to invest? And I'm like, wow. No, I mean, what do you mean? I'm making $19,000 a year. Are you kidding me? And he was like, no, I'm not kidding.
He's rolling in the money.
Okay. So, listening to a financial, at the time, agent, and, him showing me things that I could do at 25 that would plant seeds to now 20 years later, and I'm 45, I'll be 46 next month. But I know, had I not made those small tweaks in my life at age 25, I would not be able to be in a position where in a few short months, I may be paying off my forever home and having zero debt.
It sounds like you had a good support system when you was young. Also, the one thing I'm also hearing is that you allow someone to mentor you. And I think a lot of times that's our biggest struggles, is that we think we have an answer, and we don't want no one to know our situation, and we don't allow someone to mentor us to help us with that mindset shift or change. Do you see that a lot in your business where you try to help people out and you know how to get them from point A to point B, but they struggle with your strategy to get them there though?
Great question. So if I'm talking to someone, maybe at an event to where, I might be a vendor or something, and, I'm, talking with people about, the importance of financial planning and financial coaching, and having, someone basically hold you accountable for the goals you said you wanted to set.
Right.
There's two words that I hear all the time.
Uh-oh.
I'm good.
Here it comes.
What does that really mean?
Right.
Are you really? And I think what happens is Google is a great search engine tool. It is. I'm sure I use it on the daily. However, everything that you read, in those search engines doesn't always provide you with the answer that you need.
Right.
I can look on Google today and talk about and ask the question, how to reduce my debt. And it's probably going to give me 50 different answers.
Wow, that's true.
But if I look at all those 50 answers and I can't pinpoint which one would work best for me,
right.
then what did I do this for? So it's important to have somebody in your life, whether it be a financial professional, maybe it's even a mentor who's walked down these same paths as you and now know the way and can show you.
Right.
So it's important, to be able to have that person say, you know what, that's a good idea, but have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? These are the consequences if you chose that route. And there's some people in your life, whether it be a mentor or a financial professional, that can provide you with those red flags before you even step on that path.
Right.
And I know in my profession and the clients that I help, they really appreciate that alternative view. My client will look at something head on, but from my view, from not only my personal experience, but my professional experience, I can maybe go another 30 degrees and show you that view. And my client would have never seen that view had I not been in their life to help them. Okay. So it is a big shift from a mental standpoint to say, I'm willing to open myself up and be vulnerable and allow somebody to look at my mistakes.
Right.
And say, help me fix them. And I always congratulate people who reach out to me, especially for those folks who don't know me and may have heard about our work. And, they say, oh, well, I heard, my cousin tell me, that I should connect with you. That actually happened today, and I'm really honored about that. And one of the first things I say is, congratulations. That was a huge step. It took a lot of courage for you to get on the phone and talk with someone about this. I recognize it's a really tough topic to talk about, but it is so necessary. And I think especially within our community, we don't talk about it enough.
Your first steps, right? First steps.
Yeah.
And sometimes those first steps really are the hardest.
Yeah.
But once you know that professional or that mentor is not judging you on the other side, I think that helps a lot. And I think from a mental standpoint, that's important to know too, is that there's no judgment on the other side of the table. It's just a matter of that person in a position to help you get to where you want to go. Will you let them?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's basically being financially vulnerable and open and ready for this change.
And it's a journey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, from my professional experience that, I recognize Rome wasn't built in one day. So you're not going to change your financial position instantly. So it's a journey and it's a marathon. It is not a sprint. And so being able, even, from a mental standpoint, thinking about how long will it take me to get from point A to point B? Am I strong enough mentally to deal with this? Right. Am I strong enough mentally to go long term with this? And so there's going to have to be a mindset change too about not having instant gratification, but delayed gratification. And that's not easy either.
No, it's not.
We want, we want that microwave situation happening. 2 minutes, we're out of here.
Yeah, I want it when I want it.
And it's not the case. Yeah. Right. And I want it right now.
Right now.
Right. And it's not that way I would say 95% of my clientele is definitely not that way. But, if they're willing to step back and be committed to themselves, and that's tough too, I'm finding with folks I'm talking to, that commitment. And, when you get into your finances and dealing with them, there are a lot of emotions that come with that, from, shame and embarrassment, to, this was maybe some depression spending, or, I was helping family and they never returned those dollars to me. I get a lot of that. So, being able to look at your financial situation and allow somebody not only to help you, but show you and help you change your mind and change your habits, I think is super, super duper important.
Okay, I have a question here. Someone is asking, where do you start this journey? What's the very first thing someone brand new coming to this, where do they start?
That's a great question. So I think the first thing that anyone needs to do is be brave. Be brave enough to look at your financial situation. And then I would say part B to that, to being brave, be real.
Okay.
And I mean, looking at your financial situation, especially if it's, if you feel overwhelmed when you look at, your financial situation. Some people, they're like, well, shoot, this is already overwhelming. I might as well keep on doing what I'm doing.
I don't want to know about it. So why bring it to the light,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. And then others, they put their head right back in the sand.
Saying keep on going.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
do find that out a lot. I find that out a lot. It's like, if I don't know, then I don't have to worry about feeling bad about my
Right.
situation. But once I
Right.
know, I know better now. I gotta do better. So a lot of
Right.
time people procrastinate, put things off because of they just don't want to know. And you're right. You gotta at least be brave just to start. That's that first
You
step.
do. And,
And I,
yeah, please go ahead.
and I think being realistic, because some people will jump in feet first and be like, I'm gonna cut this off, I'm turning this
Yeah.
off, I'm not going out to
Overdo it.
eat, I'm
Too
not
tight.
doing this, I'm not doing that. And then 2 weeks down the road, they done fell off the wagon.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that is another mindset shift that you have to, be concerned about. If you can't make like a exact 180-degree turn. That doesn't always work, because you said it exactly correctly. Once that road bump comes and you fall off the wagon, if you've overexerted yourself and was not realistic about it, you're going to be absolutely done. And the probability of you getting back up and trying again is going to be very, very small. And so I was talking to a new client today, and we were talking about savings. And I think, in people's imagination, they'll absolutely be able to save $5,000 a check. Well, baby, you only make $3,500 a check, so we can't really save $5,000 per check if you don't. But okay, and so and being able to say, okay, let's be a little bit more realistic about this. So why don't we look at maybe saving $100? And
Okay.
the initial thought is, oh my goodness, that's no money. Well, no,
Okay.
that actually is. So if we continue to do that on a monthly basis, you'll have $1,200 by the end of the year. And then let's multiply that by, how many years we're going to do this. So I think people really, despite the small beginnings, and I write about that in my book, did not do that. I mean, I started off saving $50 a month, and that was all I could afford at the time. But once I started to understand that I needed to make a further distance between my income and my outgoing dollars, and got debt down, got things to where I could minimize my monthly spending with regular bills and other things that I might have been doing, it made all the difference in the world. So it started with $50, but as I continued to increase my income by decreasing my outgoing dollars, it became 75, 100.
Right.
And I just continued to add to it. Every time I saved money, I added to some savings.
Wow. It's funny, we was talking tonight, and I was talking to a group of people, and I was saying that, the word plan and strategy, it really don't mean the exact same thing. And I said, here's what I mean. I was telling them, hey, I want to plan to go on a vacation every year. I want to plan to retire rich. That's a
Right.
great thing to do. But I would say, what is your strategy to do the
Right.
vacation? So you coming up on a vacation in March and you didn't save not one penny. You didn't strategize your situation to be successful on that trip. So I always tell people,
Absolutely.
you can have a plan, but you also have a strategy in order to be successful at that plan. And you don't want to be so strict on yourself that you go off that diet, you blow up. You just lose everything. You save $1,000, but you ain't spent, you ain't went out. Next, you go out and blow $1,000. I
Right.
always tell people you gotta have a strategy on top of a plan to make sure you are successful at what you're trying to do. And that's a mindset, a set shift also, because you gotta
It
stay locked
is.
and loaded 100% of the time.
You do. And I think what people try to do is kind of eat the whole elephant in one bite, and that's impossible.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, like in my book, and I hope this is not
I can't wait to read
a
it.
small
I'm still waiting
example.
for it.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry, you
Nah,
didn't have that
nah,
yet,
it's a
but
Richard.
I am so excited that when you get it, I believe that you're going to really enjoy it. But in my book, I talk about surprise as Christmas. And
Mm,
everybody knows Christmas is the same day every
mm,
year. However,
true.
oh my goodness, it's November. Yeah, we started in January. Of course it's November now, and it seems like Christmas always quote unquote sneaks up on people. And I'm
Mm,
like, well, I know you want to do this for your Christmas gifts, but you only have this much in savings, and we won't cheat by using a credit card, and that's what we do.
right,
So we do the same thing with vacations, but I'm using Christmas as a very simple example, of course.
right.
And so everybody knows Christmas is December 25th every single year. So Christmas is not a surprise, but we fail to plan for our
Hmm.
Christmas giving, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And
understood.
so for the gift givers, who are listeners, it's important for you to recognize, graduation is always the same time. It's always going to be, May, June timeframe. We know this. We know when Christmas is. We know when, Easter is or Resurrection Day is. These are things that we know. We know, when the kids' birthdays are, your spouse's birthdays. So these aren't surprises, but we should take it upon ourselves to have a strategy on how we're going to save for these gifts versus to go get a credit card and then cringe when that bill comes along with that interest charge that came along with that extra spending. And so that causes angst. So in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this bill just got here and I can't pay this. And then this interest charge is bananas because my APR or my annual percentage rate is through the roof. I can't even pay the minimum balance. And so this is the cycle of angst and not really being able to see yourself getting out of paying off this credit card. And so
Right.
it continues to be a cycle every year, and that's mentally draining. And if we can break out of this to where we're being more proactive in our giving than reactive, I think that'll make all the difference in the world for you gift givers.
So I wrote down a couple things that maybe the listeners want to hear. Just a quick caption of what you've said so far. So
Mm-hmm.
we should have a plan,
Yes.
set realistic goals, have a strategy for those goals, seek a financial mentor, and be financially open and ready for the change. Does that sound
Absolutely.
pretty good? Okay,
Sounds great. Yes, it does. It sounds great.
good. Now, I was reading earlier that some people was talking about how their childhood experiences
Mm-hmm.
shaped their thoughts and belief about money and negatively impacted their relationship with money. Can you speak
Yes,
about how your childhood influences how you see money as an adult?
absolutely. Just across the board, if all you know is living check to check, no fun, no nothing, and that's kind of how you grew up, that's going to be your attitude going forward as an adult. Like money is not a resource, I think what happens is, in that perspective, we look at that more of a source when money is not the source. And,
Right.
you know, the attitude in my parents' generation, you go to work, you come home, you feed your family, you got a roof over your head, that's it. We don't have anything left to do
Right.
anything. And so what I find is that when you live in that kind of environment growing up, when you are an adult, we're balling out now. So, you know, there is not that attitude of we go to work, we go home, we have no fun. Now it's all fun. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, you know,
Yep,
I'm not going to live the life that I lived growing up. I'm going to have the clothes I want. I'm going to have the shoes that I want, the name brand stuff that I didn't have and was teased about it when I was younger. I'm going to have that as an adult.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, these are things that happen and it ruins us financially because we're spending money that we don't have
Mm.
because to be the total opposite of how it was when we grew up, when there should be a balance. Now, I came from a middle income family and my dad was in the military as well. So, you know, there's things that we had that maybe my civilian counterparts didn't. And I'm appreciative, you know, of that. But we weren't spoiled per se to where we got everything. Well, my parents would say that that's not a true statement, but I believe that we didn't get everything that we wanted. But at the same time, you know, growing up coming into my own, you know, as an adult, and I would say even as a high schooler, my mindset was I don't want to spend my money. I want to save my money as much as possible. And I did, and I didn't mind spending my parents' money, and I'll tell you that. But my money, I wanted to keep. And so,
Hang on to that thing.
right. And, you know, my mom, you know, taught us, you know, some simple things concerning money, like you never buy anything full price. You know, if it's not on sale, it's not for you. We're going out to eat, but we're going during lunchtime, you know, to catch the end of the lunchtime for lunch prices versus dinner prices, you know. So those are, you know, the little things that, you know, I carry with me, you know, into adulthood. I still even practice today. But it's important, though, to take a look at, you know, your childhood and how you grew up. And if you're listening to this and you find yourself in one of the examples that I gave, whether you grew up like me or you grew up like, you know, other folks who didn't have, and so now all they want to do is get, find a balance. Because what I want you to do, listener, is I want you to think about your today, I want you to think about your tomorrow, and I want you to think about beyond. If you're going to spend all your money today, in retirement, you're going to depend upon the government. And that is bleak.
Right. Yeah.
I hope you heard me. If you depend upon the government at this point, it's bleak.
I heard you. I'm listening.
It's bleak.
I'm listening.
Furthermore, think about the legacy that you won't leave behind.
Yeah.
If you're like me, you're a parent. And I want to make sure that my son not only gets the values that I leave him, but also I want him to start where I finished. Or to put it like Reverend Bronner would say, I want my son's floor. I want my ceiling to be my son's floor. As high as I've gotten in my life, I want that to be the starting point for my son.
I like that.
I like that. Yeah.
I like that.
And so if I didn't start saying no to some things at 25 years old, when I'm old and gray and passing away, my son's kids will still have money left from what my husband and I put in place. Yeah. And so that's what it's about. It's about, for us, it's about legacy leaving, you know, and I'm talking from a personal place at this point. It's about legacy leaving. And I know that a lot of people in our community, they really feel the same way, just don't know how. And if you would, listener, if you would be open to getting a financial coach or a financial mentor in your life, and instead of you thinking, oh, I'm good, there might be some things that you might not know and some secrets or some nuggets that, you know, someone like me or someone else in your life could give that may be the catapult to, you know, your entire financial future. Right. And I think that as you do listen and learn and start to practice, you'll find it's not rocket science after all, nor you'll find that it's not as hard as you may have imagined.
Yes.
Lastly, you'll also find that you don't have to be rich to put money away.
Sure don't.
You can do it
That's the
no
truth.
matter how much income you
That's
have.
the
You can
truth.
do it right where you are. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It does not matter. And I'm talking to somebody who was making $19,000 a year, throughout her, military career, and then, in a financial industry, making over 100,000 a year, and then not, and walking away from that,
Wow.
and being still
That's
okay because of all the sacrifices that I made before, could walk away and still be able to have, 5, 6 different buckets of money to pull from and 2 or 3 different streams of income at
That's
any
what I'm
given
talking about. I
time.
like that.
So it's those
Right.
kinds of things that we can do. And I think that I was talking to a cousin this weekend. If we don't see it within our own communities, we might not feel like it could happen.
Okay. People you
Go
can
ahead,
identify
Elroy.
with.
Sounds like you got something to say about that.
Yeah, well, you just said like people you can identify with. People
Yeah.
in your own circle you see every single day, not somebody you see every now and then. So yeah, that's a big thing because we can identify with the things that we want in life. We're thinking these are things that are beyond my reach.
Yeah. And they're not. They are absolutely not. And what I challenge my clients to do, and I'm going to challenge listeners, dream big. Whatever that is, it doesn't matter. Because what I
Right.
want to do is I want to positively impact someone to where they find their why. A lot of times we're just out just what Kevin Hart would call frolicing it up. We're just spending money just everywhere, just because we got it, we can. And I think we do that because there's no focus. In
Right.
our minds, we're not focused on the end game. We're focused on the right now, looking good, impressing other people, when we need to be focused on the end game. So that's a real big mind shift too, to not focus on today, but focus on later, like your tomorrow and beyond. And so I want to challenge the listeners to dream big. What is that big dream that you have? And then once you get that dream, or you're just talking about this, about, strategizing. Now that you got that dream in front of you, what's the strategy for you to get there? And some of it is going to be, well, I can't go buy that new, $70,000 car like I wanted to. Maybe I need to stick with the one that I have paid off, or maybe I need to work to pay the one that I have off so I can divert that payment that I did have, to something else. I mean, there are things that you can do, but we got to dream big. And once we
Gotta
have that
dream
dream in
big.
front of us, that will help us focus our mindset on, getting to that goal versus just being out here and not making a difference in the world.
Right. I have 2 questions.
Okay.
One question is, if you say set some goals and you fall off the wagon, how do you recover from that? How do you
Oh,
get back, make that adjustment to get back on your plan?
that's a great question. And in fact, that's funny you asked that question, because I felt in my heart that that had happened to a client of mine, and he had fallen away for a few months. And so I sent him a text a couple days ago, and he finally texted me back. And I'm helping him stay accountable to the goals that he set for himself. And I said to him, are you okay? I'd still want to meet with you, and he's like, I made some mistakes, da, 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 da. Let's meet back up in April. I said, absolutely not. Let's go ahead and meet now, because I want you to know that I'm still in your corner. I'm not going to let you fall. I'm not going to let you feel like you can go handle it by yourself. And now the weight of those mistakes are on you alone. Absolutely not. So it's always good to have somebody walking with you. And the word talks about that, about having somebody walk with you, because, whoa, if you're alone and then, things happen to you, or if you're cold, you don't have anybody to warm you. The word talks
Right.
about that, about having somebody walk with you along the journey. So it's important that you have somebody that you can trust walking alongside you. So that's how you get back on the horse by having somebody there to help you get back on. And I think that
Right.
that's going to be so important, especially in these days to come, where you must have somebody in your corner helping you and encouraging you along. Because in the area of finances, you can talk yourself out of everything in your own mind.
Right.
And
Yes.
if you don't have that other person in your ear saying, no, get up, continue, get back on that horse, finish this race, then you'll be left on the side.
And also for that person, if you say set a goal that you're not going to get, say, the high price coffee, but 3 times a week when you normally get it 5 times a week, and
Mm-hmm.
say you get it 5 times a week and you blow your budget, that don't mean the following week you don't get it at all. You just go back to the 3 times a week that you agreed to. I don't want people to set goals and when they miss that mark, to beat themselves up and then
Right.
they overcompensate the following week to make up for what they did the previous week. No, just start fresh and keep going. Don't beat
You're
yourself up, because
100% right. Yep.
we're all human and we're all going to make those mistakes. So just start fresh after that and just keep moving towards your goal, because it's going to happen. Things happen. You just keep moving forward. Don't beat yourself up. Just keep moving forward.
You're right. You got to give yourself some space to make mistakes. If you set out a goal to save $50 this month and you didn't, you only saved 25. You can save the 25, and then next month we can strive for that 50 again. You don't have to now save 75. And if just like you're saying, if that's just not feasible, it's okay. Just start over. It's okay. It's never too late.
Right.
It's never too late. And I don't care how old you are. If you are above ground, it is never too late to start over. Never. And so I just want to encourage, the listeners that, if you do fall off, it's okay. Let's try it again.
Right.
And I don't want anyone to ever feel like, they are a failure or a loser or, someone who will never make it. They'll never see. Absolutely not. That is a lie. Just try it again. And you're absolutely right, Robert. Go ahead, please.
And I have one more question. Someone's asking about how do they look for a financial advisor? What questions should they be asking? What skill set, experience they should be looking for? How do they look for that person?
That's a great question too. There are some things where I would recommend people start. One thing is you want to find someone who puts you first. There are some folks that you may talk to and you may have talked to in the past where, you're talking with that person. You're like, it sounds like that person is more trying to sell me something than really help me get to my goals. And so you want someone to put you first. The second thing you want to do is find someone who saves you time. If you have someone who is confident in their skill set and competent also in their skill set, you can be racking your brain on Google. And then you would call that financial professional and you would ask them that question. And they'd be like, oh, you do this, and this. How much time does that save you? Oh, well, shoot, But that's why we do what we do, because, we want to save you time. And a lot of times we have the answers. And then sometimes we don't have all the answers, and that's okay. But we know how to get those answers. So then you can go on and continue on with your life and let us do the hard work. So you want to find somebody who saves you time. You also want to find someone who gives you options. And basically what that means, you want someone to be able to say, okay, say you want to pay off your debt. You can do it this way, and here's the end result. You can do it this way, and then here's the end result, versus telling you what you're going to do, and you're stupid if you don't do it that one way.
Right. Give them options.
So you want Please, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said, it's like you're giving them options, so they're not stuck into one plan.
Absolutely. And I like to say, especially when it comes to debt reduction, I have a different philosophy than my husband. But the end result is our debt will go down, but we both want to attack them differently. And so how I like to do it might not fit, somebody else. How my husband likes to do it might not fit someone else. So you have to provide options and let that person, choose. And then that person really can feel like they have some skin in the game because ultimately it was their choice and their goals anyway. The next thing I would say and I've got a list, so I'm halfway done. The next thing I would say is, I do. Well, it matters. I mean, if you're going to invite someone into your life in that, professional relationship, it matters, who is on the other side of the table helping you out. So I always have to give this advice. So anyway, the next one is welcome to the family. You want somebody to be able to treat you like your family. Now, we all got that one crazy cousin or crazy uncle, and we love you, and we're going to treat you like family. And, just because you didn't fell off the wagon and, we got to look back at you like, dude, you for real? We're going to love you anyway. We're going to keep you on board. We ain't going to kick you out of the family because you messed up. The next thing is you want somebody who displays integrity. So just like the example that I gave that, we might not know the answer right off.
Right.
I would rather somebody tell me, well, you know what, I don't know, than try to lie to you and try to make it sound good and you really didn't know what you was talking about. So I would, look for somebody who would display integrity. And then lastly, if you haven't done it, you can't tell me nothing. So I feel like if you're looking for somebody in a financial profession, find someone who is also doing what they're telling you to do or have done it. And so I call that the road less traveled because statistics show that only 2 of 5 people will be successful in retirement. And so with that being said, there's a very small percentage, if you will, that will actually do the things that are required, the sacrifices, that are required right now to be successful then. So you want to follow somebody, not listen to what they're telling you to do and then they're going to go do something else. You want to follow that person and let that person walk with you down that journey because they've already paved the way. So those are things that I would say that you should look for in a financial professional.
Well, good. Those were good tips.
Thank you.
So I'm going to do the takeaway again, the list of things that we take away from this session. Once again, have a plan, set goals, be realistic in your goals, have a strategy for achieving those goals, seek a financial mentor, be financially open and ready for change. And you don't have to be rich to save.
You sure
Does that sound pretty good? Does that sound pretty good?
That does.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I want to make sure and just double check me. Did I answer, the questions appropriately? Did you feel like I leave anything out that I need to clarify or anything? I want to make sure that as, people listen to this, they walk away knowing that, they got some good information.
Yes, I'm getting that the questions were answered. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much.
So, Tina, if you want to take time to shout out your book again and your website so people, if they want to check you out, they can find you on social media and everything.
Absolutely. So again, Tina Smith, president of the Financial T Coaching and Consulting Firm. Yes, we are here for you. If you feel like you need help in budgeting, debt reduction, how to optimize your employer-sponsored plan, we want to be here for you. Also, I am an author. If you feel like you don't want that kind of commitment with our firm, that's fine. We have a book that will be able to help you get those juicy nuggets on how to improve your financial position. The book is called It's Your Turn, Walk in Your Financial Purpose. And you're going to be challenged in this book. It is not one of those normal financial books you've ever read. It's one of those books that you're able to read a simple topic you're able to get some really simple advice, answer some practical questions on what you can do to make your life better. And then also it has some scripture to help encourage you to move forward with your decisions. So that's us. We are everywhere you are. So if you're on Twitter, Facebook, connect with us at The Financial T. That is at TheFinancial, the letter T. And if you're on the gram, I'm on the gram too. And you can find us the_financial_ the letter T. You can also look us up on YouTube. We're The Financial T there as well. Where our website is www.thefinancialt.org. That is TheFinancial, the letter T.org. Check us out and connect with us. And you can also subscribe to our newsletters while you're there. And to all the listeners, I would like to encourage you to go to our website where you're able to click a link about wanting a financial coach. There's me, Shamika, and Kevin. We are on standby, ready to help you. You can always click on one of those links to our calendar, and you can get a free 30-minute consultation with either one of us. We are waiting to help you, and we can't wait to serve you.
Wow, Tina, that was incredible. I enjoyed that. And I hope everyone that listens to it enjoy it and they take away something from this and they start their journey. They get themselves mentally prepared to start their journey to financial freedom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I'm so glad, and I hate that it's already over, but I'm really glad that you had me on, that you were able to, allow me to share and encourage your listeners. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity. It means so much to me that you've allowed me to share my passion with everyone. And thank you for the conversations that we've had. And again, for allowing me to be on your podcast. It means a lot, and I appreciate your trust.
Well, it's more to come from you. So just,
Yes.
We know you have a lot to offer, and we definitely want to just have you continue to get the word out, because we need this in our neighborhood and in other neighborhoods. So we just want to say thank you for just entrusting in us to use this platform to get the word out, and you allowing us allowing you to work with us. So it's an awesome opportunity, and I know from here we're just going to start spreading the word. When we all said and done, you'll get a link and you can put it on your Instagram pages and have people to listen to it and continue to promote your business. So just thank you. And like I said, I can't wait to read your book, because I know I'm going to have some questions.
Okay, well, great. Well, the next time you guys, if you ever decide to have me back on, I can't wait to answer those questions and really talk about. Thank you, and really talk about some of those nuggets so we can help. That's what this is. I've been called to help, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Tina. And I want to thank those that wrote in questions. This was a great session, and we'll be talking soon, because she will be coming back. She will be coming back to give us more information. So y'all stay tuned to that. And just remember that this information is just that, information, suggestions to help you on your journey. You need to do further research for your specific situation. So just remember that. Okay. So let's call it a day.
All righty. Goodbye, everybody.
Right.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, thank you for tuning in to our podcast, Financeology 101. I hope you enjoyed this session and the information provided will assist you on your financial journey. Until next time, be financially engaged.